Next, we have a group that actually Mayor Voxland started some time ago, and then it became an actual group by itself. We have Beyond the Yellow Ribbon, Moorhead, and Les Bakke, who will tell us a little bit of an update.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and let me add my congratulations to Bob Z and his staff. I've worked with several of the members of his staff and believe they are truly an awesome group. And speaking of awesome groups, I have some of my awesome group behind me. Tim Haugen is our treasurer. Dan Hunt is our former council member. Dan Hunt is our volunteer coordinator, and my sweetie Bev Lake over here has helped us in our project as well. And we have two other officers, Vince Dix, representing Department Disabled American Veterans, and Gail Brecky, who represents the VFW Auxiliary. It's really fun coming and talking to this group because of a couple of things. Number one, I'm not asking for any money. I'm not asking for you to put anything in your budget for next year or the year after. And we're not here to tell you what you're doing well, and we're not here to complain about what you may not be doing so well. So this is really fun. The report that was in your packet, I believe, so all of you should have had an opportunity to review it. I'm going to highlight just a couple things. First of all, we hold 2 annual fundraisers. Last year and this year, the spring one is for the honor flight. Last year, we raised over $4,700 for the honor flight, and we hope to do the same thing come April of this year. In the fall, we hold a fundraiser for the residents' recreational fund at the hospital in Fargo, and we give half of it to them, and we give half of it down to the Minnesota Veterans Home in Fergus Falls. And if you did or didn't read the little thing about the Fergus Falls visit when we went down there to deliver that check, it was really a wonderful experience. They told us to come down and do the check presentation after their Christmas program. When we got there, the director told us that the residents were going to play all the roles. You know, you remember when you were a kid, you may have played the roles in a church pageant or something like the residents did. The oldest was 92 years old. The youngest was 1 month old. It was a baby that was playing baby Jesus out there. Several of them were in wheelchairs. All 3 wise men wheeled in electric wheelchairs. Several were in walkers. Very few actually walked out there and stood. But it was really a wonderful presentation, and Tim and Gail and I really enjoyed it while we were down there. Listed in the lower part of the report are some of the things that we've done over the past year. In addition, we gave each a little over $2,700. Should have put that in there. Our upcoming project that a couple of you know about already is related to the 100th anniversary of the American Legion. Its first convention was held in 1919 in Minneapolis. The 2018 will again be held in Minneapolis. The American Legion is encouraging communities and organizations such as ours, the VFW American Legion, and so forth, to hold celebrations. So we've got a project called Veterans Still Serving America. That's the American Legion little slogan. And we added Legacy and Vision in Clay County. And we hope to have a lot of the organizations in Moorhead, in Clay County, come on board. And we've got several of them that are already on board. For instance, the Historical Society has volunteered to help us do some stuff. My conversation with City Manager Redlinger suggested we talk to the parks people, see if they can be involved. The Rourke Art Museum is going to have a show of veterans who are artists, or artists who are veterans, whichever way you want to look at it. Moorhead Library, which you fund, is going to help us with special events in the year 2018. And we'll be giving you updates as we go along. But that's what we are, that's what we're doing, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Les? Jim?
Les, could you Tell us about the Veterans Gap Fund and what that does. It's one of the projects from the BTYR.
I can do that. We contribute to the Veterans Gap Fund. It was a fund established by the Cass County and Clay County Veteran Service officers about 2 years ago, I believe, with a grant from the FM Area Foundation. And what it is a fund of dollars that the two VSOs can use after every other fund has been expended. There's nothing left to help our needy veterans. They can go to this fund. And it is run through the FM Area Foundation, so it falls under a charitable donation fund.
And there's sometimes items that aren't normally funded through anything else.
Correct.
The one example I remember that I was told was a veteran had just come in, just got a new job, but it needed these specialized shoes. And so they went through the fund to be able to pay for the shoes.
Yep. There are things like that, work shoes for a job that requires it. They can help with gas cards, food cards, bus passes if they need a bus, mostly to get them started. We've even helped with a deposit for an apartment. And there is one person who got that a couple of years ago, has since come back to the GAP fund and contributed back the dollars that he had once received. So it's a growing project.
So how would somebody give to the GAP fund then? How would you recommend?
The easiest way to, okay. The easiest way today is to contact either the Clay County Veteran Service Office or the Cass County Veteran Service Office. Or by next week, I'll put it on our Beyond the Yellow Ribbon webpage, which I just recreated and uploaded this afternoon. So it'll look good if you go out there. It'll look better than what we had. But I'll get that out there too.
Nancy?
Les, thanks so much for coming here. It represents so far beyond your efforts. It is a big effort and a big tribute to our veterans for, that's right, to everything that they do. We certainly appreciate it. And can you give us just some preliminary ideas of some of the things that you're planning for the 100th year anniversary of the American Legion?
Sure, I'd be happy to. In addition to the Historical Society, which is going to do stuff for us, the Art Museum is going to do stuff for us, the Moorhead Public Library will. Some of the others that I've talked to that are not as firmly committed to a project are, I talked to the theater department at MSUM, see if they can do something similar to what they had a few years ago about the truce during World War I over in Europe. And my good friend Elizabeth over there said, oh yeah, we can make something happen for that. And I'm going to talk to Concordia and I'm going to talk to NDSU and see if we can do something like that. I talked with President Ann Blackhurst and asked for her consideration of the 2018 commencement speaker for graduation over there. They always have an MSUM alum. I asked if she would add the criteria of a veteran who was an MSUM alum as commencement speaker, and she said, yeah, we're on board. So there are more, but we have a lot of them.
Oh, that's wonderful. Are you going to try to keep the community updated through
Yes.
FM Extra, that type of thing as well?
It will be in the Veterans Corner Extra.
Okay,
It will be on our webpage.
good.
And we submitted a grant today, it was due today, to see if we can get some funds to hire a researcher to assist a historical society in doing research of Clay County veteran stuff for fall of 16, and then ask for another grad assistant intern type positions for spring of 17 to finish it off and start the marketing thing in 17 for events in 18.
All right, wonderful. And if there are a need for volunteers, you will note that in some of your your FM Extra
Absolutely.
columns? Okay,
Yep.
great. Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much again. Really appreciate it.
We have a working committee of about 20 to 25, right, somewhere around there.
Brenda?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Les, just a thanks to all that you guys do and the whole committee and the whole organization. I know a lot of it is behind the scenes, just day-to-day stuff that you do for our service members. It really is making a difference, it sounds like, in their daily lives. So just wanted to thank you for all that you do.
Well, we have, Tim is retired from the Army National Guard. Dan was in the Army. I was in the Air Force. Vince was?
Air Force.
Air Force?
Mike?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, in addition to what Councilmember Elmer said, what I think people need to understand is that all of these folks have plenty of things they could be doing with their time. There are so many ways to serve and so many things they could be doing on their own private time, but instead they're doing this. And what I like about this is this is here. This is in Moorhead. This is the local level. We see a lot of advertisements on TV to help veterans, and that's fine. But you can't beat in the United States of America things like this that go on right here at the local level. That's where it's at. And you guys are just a fantastic example of that. And I think that's what makes this so great.
I would be remiss in not making this comment after that. We are a 501c3. We do accept donations, and they may be listed on your tax forms. So check our webpage.
Will I see you on TV?
Will you see me
No,
on
I'm
TV?
kidding. I'm
right
just
now. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Les, and
Okay.
thank you very much.
You can go.
Let's get our annual report on the yellow ribbon.
Good morning. Good morning, all. Thank you very much for listening to our annual report. I believe it was in your packet that was distributed. Thanks, Brian, for making sure that was in there. The Beyond Yellow Ribbon was, I'm going to do three things this morning. The Beyond Yellow Ribbon was formed by the city of Moorhead. Back in 2011, we were certified as a nonprofit 501c3 in 2012, so we can accept money. However, I am not here asking you guys for any money, just the same thing as I told you last year. But I'd like to highlight a few things that we have done and are doing. We hold 2 annual fundraisers. The one in the spring has, in fact, gone to the honor flight. We will do that again this spring. We did it last year. You'll see information on there. The one in the fall, we raised funds for the recreational funds for the residents of the VA hospital and for the residents down at the Minnesota Veterans Home in Fergus Falls. And I really have to tell you just a little bit about our experience down there. We wanted to present a check, so they said come down after our Christmas party and present the check. Well, the Christmas party was the story. It wasn't our check presenting it, because as some of you probably performed in pageants in high school or in church, the residents did the pageants. The oldest one was 92 years old. It was just an awesome thing, and you may hear the feeling in my voice when I did this last night, and I got the same way. The youngest was a 1-month-old baby, okay? So that was our range. They came in walkers, wheelchairs, and so forth, and it was really, really awesome. And, oh yeah, we did give them a check, as we did to the VA hospital over in Fargo. The back part of the page, second page, lists some of the other things that we are doing, but I'd like to call your attention to the very bottom. The Beyond the Yellow Ribbon Moorhead is starting a new project of Veterans Still Serving America, so legacy and vision for Clay County, and that is based on the fact that the American Legion will be 100 years old, And the national organization has encouraged communities, organizations such as ours, to plan year-long events in the celebration. Their first convention was Minneapolis in 1919. Their 100th will be in Minneapolis again in 2018. So our goal is to plan things for 2018. And again, I'm not asking you for money because we tend to raise our own. At some point when we get the plan a little further, I would like to have an endorsement motion passed by this organization, simply endorsing what we're doing and encouraging us to do it. And I believe that's within your capabilities. And I am brief. I know your timeline, so I use less than my 5 minutes, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Oh, wait, I have to say one thing. There is a grammatical error in this report. I have a plural subject and a singular verb. Former English teacher.
Before you.
You caught it.
No, I've been done quite before you.
Still in there.
Okay. I just wanted to say, in relation to this, your weekly column in
Moorhead Extra.
Moorhead Extra does a lot for the veterans.
Okay.
Very.
And Grant is your
Yeah,
representative.
a lot of good things going on with Beyond the Yellow Ribbon, and Les chairing it. It's just doing great things, and I know I speak for the board when we appreciate everything that's happening there. So.
And I'm not doing it. It is about 20, 25 volunteers. You know, we have a variety of people representing American Legion, VFW, auxiliaries, DAV, and I represent the Vietnam Veterans of America. But thank you for being our committee member.
Thank you, Les. I can hear in your voice you're very dedicated to the Veterans Organization.
We are.
And I thank you very much for your service to that. Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Les.
Thank you, Les.
Thank you, Les.
I would expect no less. Members of the Public Service Commission, anything to report? I know that Mr. Bakke gave a report on the yellow ribbon.
I don't know if that's appropriate for here, but I certainly can.
Why don't you?
Last night for City Council meeting and this morning at the Clay County Commission, I gave our annual report of the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon organization in Moorhead, which is a Minnesota-only organization that is set up to provide assistance, help, training, and so forth to our National Guard deployed individuals and their families. And over the last couple of years, because we haven't had very many deployments out of our area, we've done a lot more for our veterans in the community. And just to highlight a couple of them, each spring we hold a fundraiser for the honor flights, and in the fall we hold a fundraiser for the recreational fund for the residents at the hospital, VA hospital in Fargo. They get half the proceeds, and the other half goes to the Minnesota Veterans Home down in Fergus Falls. And we went down there in December, and we were going to present the check following their Christmas pageant. And the Christmas pageant that was done at the Veterans Home was all done by the residents. And you may remember when you were a kid, you might have done it in high school, in school or in a church or a place of worship and such, but here all the residents. The oldest player in the thing was 92 years old. The youngest was 1 month old, the grandson of one of the LPNs who played Jesus in the manger. And it was a very moving half-hour thing. Many of them were in with walkers. The three wise men came in with motorized wheelchairs and everything else. And oh yeah, we did present a check at the end, but that wasn't the story. So it's one of those feel-good things that we like to do.
Thank you, Les. And thank you for all that you do for the veterans as well.